Hi, my name is Dr. Isabel Barrett-Eng, and I'm professor and head of the Department of Integrative Biology. I am really excited to be able to welcome you to our department and to the University of Windsor. In our department, we take a look at life at many different levels, from biomolecules to ecosystems. Our goal is to provide you with a broad and integrative training and learning experience in the biological sciences. Let me tell you a little bit more about what to expect in the fall term of your first year. So, in integrative biology, we offer two different undergraduate degree programs: the Biological Sciences degree program and the Behavior, Cognition, and Neuroscience, or BCN program. I'm going to be focusing on BCN. Now, the BCN program represents an emergent interdisciplinary field related to the study of the brain and behavior. It'll provide you with training in modern neuroscience, a strong and fast growing field that seeks to understand the structure, function, and mechanisms of the brain. It helps you use this knowledge and so that you can understand animal, including human, behavioral and cognitive functions, and prepares you to address neurological diseases in the future, as well as ecological ramifications of animal behavior. Training in the BCN program is related to fundamentals and emergent investigations of animal and human behavior and cognition, as well as neuroscience at the chemical, molecular, genetic, and systems physiological levels. So let's explore what you can expect in your first year. We're going to focus today on the fall term in your first year in the BCN program. We're going to look at what exactly is required. And you're going to see from today's conversation that your program in the fall term is going to be a mix of both required courses, but also options. The required courses are going to allow you to gain the necessary information to create a fundamental base of knowledge that allows you to take further specialized courses in future years. So let's start by how you can get help with degree planning. So we've got lots of advisors in the department who are available and excited to meet with you to help you with planning your degree. To book a time with an advisor, the simplest thing to do is to use the following link. The link will essentially take you to a calendar where you can pick a time that works best for you and automatically set up an appointment with one of our advisors. Another tool that I want to share with you before we get into the details of the BCN program fall term year one is this advising form. This advising form is an amazing tool for you to use as you chart your course through the next 4 years. I highly recommend that you download a copy of this advising form on your computer, print it out, and actually keep track over the next little while of the courses that you're going to be taking. This advising form essentially lists all the requirements that you need to complete to graduate with a degree in BCN. Now, you can find a copy of this advising form at the following website. Please make use of it. Ask us questions about it. We are there and happy to help you with this particular, with degree planning for the BCN program. Let's have a look at the courses that you're going to be invited to take in the fall term. So you've got 3 required courses, 1 science pair, and an option. So in terms of the required courses that you're going to be invited to take, the first is a biology course. So it's Biology 1101, which is cell biology. You're going to be also asked to take a chemistry course. So Chemistry 1100 or General Chemistry 1. The psychology course, Psych 1150 or Psychology as Behavioral Science, is the third required course. Now, the remaining 2 courses are kind of like options. One of the courses is one member of what we call a science pair. So it's essentially pairs of science courses from which you can pick depending on your interests, but also depending on what you're going to want to do after your 4-year program ends. So if you're interested in computer science, we've got a pair of courses that you can take to learn more about programming. You could also choose to take physics courses if you're interested in physics, or if your plans for your career are professional schools, many of which ask you to have a physics course. But we also have a pair of environmental science courses that you can also take. The last or fifth course you're going to be taking in your fall term of year one is an arts, languages, or social sciences course, or you can also consider taking Math 1720. So we're going to be exploring these courses together in a little bit more detail today. So let's have a look at these required courses in a little bit more detail. So let's go back to that cell biology course. Well, in that course, what you're going to be doing is essentially examining the principles that govern living systems. Things like molecular and cellular basis of life, molecular genetics, energetics, differentiation, and development. Your chemistry course is going to lead you through an exploration of introductory concepts in chemistry, things like reactions of atoms, ions, and molecules. In psychology, you're going to be introduced to selected areas in psychology, things including learning, perception, physiological psychology, emotion, and motivation. Let's now turn to those possible science pairs. Now, you can choose from one of the following pairs of science courses. So as you can see, you have choices in computer science, in physics, but also in environmental science. So how do you choose? Well, we really want to offer two pieces of advice. The first piece of advice is to pick something that really appeals to you. What are you interested in learning more about in terms of one of these science fields? The second piece of advice I'd like to share is to think a little bit further ahead in terms of what you'd like to do once your BCN degree is finished. If you're wanting to apply to professional school, so something like medicine, dentistry, optometry, having a look at these professional schools and the requirements in terms of courses that they expect applicants to have completed prior to applying is going to also help you making that decision. Note that a lot of these professional schools have very different requirements, so it's important to have a look and see which of these requirements you're going to need depending on your own preferences. So if we have a look at some of these different options in terms of the fall term, so if we look at computer science first, so Comp 1047 is computer concepts for end users. So this course is particularly dedicated to looking at the concepts of operation of a computer system, looking specifically at hardware and software. If you're more someone who really enjoys programming, well, Comp 2067 might be better for you. So in this course, you're going to be introduced to the fundamental computer programming principles and structured programming concepts with an emphasis on good programming. If physics is more to your liking or is going to help you meet the requirements for future goals, this particular course, Physics 1300, is an introductory physics made specifically for students in the life sciences. It's an algebra-based course that's intended for students who are interested in the biological or health sciences or related disciplines. What this means is that most of the concepts you're going to be talking about in this course are going to be applied to the life sciences with examples that relate to the life sciences. You also may choose instead to opt for Physics 1400. So this is more for majors in physics, and it's going to deal more specifically with things like mechanics, properties of matter, and heat. One important note is this is a calculus-based course as opposed to Physics 1300, which was algebra-based. If we look at the possible options that relate to environmental science, ESCI 1100 is an introduction to environmental science. So in this course, you're going to be introduced to the components of the Earth's environment, but also the principles and processes that define and influence environmental systems. You have another option that you can consider in terms of environmental science, and that's ESCI 1130, where you're going to be focused more on the atmosphere and climate. So looking at basic principles of meteorology, but also climatology. So let's have a look now at options. So remember that you're also taking one option course as part of your fall semester in year one. Now there's lots of options for you to select from. You can aim to select something in the arts or languages. So things like dramatic art, English, languages, literatures and cultures, philosophy, and the creative arts. You may also opt for social sciences courses, courses like anthropology, communication, media and film, history, political science, psychology, social work, sociology, anthropology and criminology, women's and gender studies, and work and employment. From this, you can see that the list is fairly long in terms of what you can choose to take as your option course. So if you look at arts and languages, going back to this, some common examples are English courses in composition or an ethics course. These two courses are fairly popular with students who are planning to apply to professional school like medicine, because a lot of these programs do require you to have at least one English course. So how do you pick? Well, the first question that you should really use to guide your selection is, what are you interested in? Really take this option to learn about a topic you may not know about. The second question to ask is, well, what fits your timetable? And lastly, again, are you planning to apply to professional school that has specific requirements? So being mindful of those specific requirements early makes it easier to schedule in those courses that you're going to need in order to apply at a future date. One other course that we recommend for BCN students is Math 1720. So this could be your option as well in the fall term of year 1. So Math 1720 is differential calculus. So another option to consider as you're planning your degree. A few last tips for planning a successful semester. We are so excited to welcome you as future Lancers. Starting university is an exciting time, and there's lots to think about, there's lots to do, there's lots of new things to get introduced to. One of the things to consider is joining a student club. What's really nice about joining student clubs is that it allows you to actually meet peers, talk to students who've been around for a little bit, get to know them, and actually learn from them in terms of their experience being at the University of Windsor. Another tip is to not be shy in terms of talking with your professors. They want to talk with you. They want to help you. They are there for you. So please don't hesitate to talk with them, email them, communicate with them. They want to help you succeed, and they want to help ensure that you have an amazing experience at the University of Windsor. The next point is to think about time management. As I mentioned earlier, it can sometimes be a little overwhelming when you're starting year 1. There's lots of new things to try, lots of different courses, lots of different things to do. So it's really important to think about time to study. So what works best for you? When are you going to do that study? When are you going to schedule that study time? When are your classes running? What are their schedules? If you have to work, what is your work schedule going to look like? But most importantly, it's also important to think about self-care. How do you schedule in break time, things to do, time to do things other than school? Lastly, I really want to encourage you to reach out for help. We are happy to meet with you at any time to help with degree planning or any other questions that you may have. Please don't hesitate to do so. A few last notes about professional schools. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of our students look to professional schools after graduating from BCN. This particular website is extremely helpful in terms of navigating the different requirements that Ontario medical schools have. What you'll find out fairly soon is that different medical schools have very different course requirements in terms of potential applicants. This website lists all the different prerequisite courses that they want applicants to have successfully completed prior to application. Another couple of links that I find really helpful are links to the different admissions or aptitude exams that different professional schools will ask you to complete. So the MCAT is for those students wanting to apply for medical school. The DAT is for dentistry, the OAT is for optometry, and the PCAT is for pharmacy. And you'll find that on campus, we've got groups of students having made student clubs for each of these different professional schools that are happy to help you, that they're happy to talk with you about their experiences in writing these aptitude exams and tips and tricks to be successful on these exams as well. Lastly, I really want to try to convince you to consider joining us as research partners. What's really nice about the BCN program is that you can complete research in integrative biology, but also in the departments of biomedical sciences, chemistry and biochemistry, and human kinetics and psychology. The BCN program really opens the doors to you to consider doing research in amongst any of these departments. It truly is an interdisciplinary program. Regardless of the area you select in terms of doing research, you're going to see that our facilities offer state-of-the-art equipment and technologies so that you can get involved in research projects that are exploring cutting-edge research questions. We really value your input, your collaboration, your participation as research partners. What makes the University of Windsor Faculty of Science so special is that we are able to offer these research experiences to our students right away in year one. This is what really distinguishes us from other institutions. I really hope you're going to take us up on this offer to join us in completing research with us in research labs. There is so much for you to choose from. In these research experiences, you become a true research partner, participating in authentic research that is publishable. So lastly, again, we're really here to help. You have lots of people here that are excited to talk with you, to help you as you start your journey here at the University of Windsor. You can find more information on this website. And I want to thank you for listening to this video today. And again, wanting to welcome you at the University of Windsor. Best wishes for fall term.